Hello, welcome to Join News Desk with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up, calls intensify for Office of the Special Prosecutor to extradite former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to face charges here in Ghana. More than 1,500 Ivorians have crossed into the country ahead of Cote d'Ivoire's general election. The Western Regional Minister is urging tighter border vigilance as immigration officers struggle to tell who is fleeing and who is just passing through.
The situation is still very fluid, and so let's keep our eyes on, the inflow so that we're able to check.
Also coming up, National Science and Math quiz underway in Cape Coast. We have details for you. These plus business updates on our desk. Well, Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson has called on security personnel at the Lubu border to remain alert amid a subtle influx of Ivorians seeking refuge ahead of Cote d'Ivoire's general election scheduled for October 25. Reports indicate that over 1,500 Ivorians have crossed into Ghana to escape election-related unrest, prompting authorities to heighten border surveillance. Now, during a working visit to the Ghana-Ivory Coast border at Lubu, Mr. Nelson emphasized the need for careful monitoring to prevent potential criminal elements from entering the country.
The situation is still very fluid, and so let's keep our eyes on, the inflow so that we're able to check the security side of things, so we don't have any surprises, any day in the future. The elections are coming on in October, as you know, and so as we approach the day, I believe that a lot more of them will come. So put yourself in readiness to, receive them, and then, of course, with your eyes wide open, so we don't get any criminals slipping through, the system to pose a challenge to us as far as our security is concerned.
Well, the Deputy Commissioner of Immigration at the Lubu Command, District Commander Joshua Kreku, highlighted the challenges in distinguishing between regular travelers and those seeking asylum. Mr. Kreku noted that while the number of arrivals are increasing, most individuals are not visibly carrying luggage that indicates an intent to seek asylum.
Rationally, people are taking precautions by leaving the country to find safe havens, and then maybe after the elections, if everything is fine, they go back. But when they are coming through the border, they don't present themselves as people who are coming to seek asylum. They are coming as normal travelers, but then they end up maybe getting to the refugee camp to seek asylum then. So we have also noticed that the numbers are going up maybe, but there isn't a situation where people are carrying their bags to cross the border to go there.
Well, joining me this morning is DCI Joshua Kreku, and he's telling us that there are updates on the situation at Lubu. We're grateful for your time, sir, on our desk this morning. So, really, what will you describe the situation this morning? As of this morning, what's currently the numbers?
Thank you, Mamisi. This morning, yes, like the minister said, we are approaching the day. The elections are coming on the 25th of October. That's Saturday coming. And as we have kept monitoring, up to now, there hasn't been what I would describe as a crisis situation at the border for now. We are still seeing the normal flows through the border.
What measures have been put in place to, monitor?
They're very definite that they are coming to seek asylum. We have an asylum. We have a refugee camp at Ampain, which is about 60 kilometers away from the border. And this Ampin camp that hosts Ivorian refugees, over the years, they had been there. And around 2022, they carried out repatriation exercise, voluntary repatriation exercise, of which most of the refugees went back. However, a few chose to remain, and they are there. So from our monitoring that we have been making so far, it's people who are coming to add to this existing stock.
All right, so has the Western Regional Security Council or even your outfit exchanged any, words with the Ivorian security about the situation, seeing that some people are already crossing the border into Ghana, about arrangements to be made if this should increase?
Well, I am at the border here, and we have very good relations with our counterparts, the Ivorian counterparts. So on a daily basis or very regularly, I visit them to find out the situation there too. And so far, we all have the same concerns. We haven't had crisis situation yet for now. And we can't always say no crisis anyway, because from now till the elections and even aftermath, we wouldn't know what will happen. So we are preparing ourselves to be able to take control if the situation should arise. So on my initiative, I had even written to the municipal coordinating director, municipal chief executive, to help us identify a place around Elubo in case people come and it's a crisis situation. We can send them there and then have time to screen them properly before Ghana Refugee Board would take them as refugees to their a refugee camp. Well, which the MC has also asked the coordinator to come and scout for an area. So he told me they have identified a place and they are grading the place and set up the place just in case. But for now, everything is fine at the border.
What elements or measures are you putting in place to ensure that you don't have any, the influx of harmful elements, for want of a better expression? I'm talking of people who are engaged in, terrorism activities and whatnot, who are taking advantage of the situation to go through our borders into Ghana, maybe to, you never know what can happen.
Yes, from now on, if the situation remains like this, then our usual control is being done. And of course, we have also heightened the checks. So for terrorist elements, all our machines are working. And since we haven't had a situation which is overwhelming, our operations are normal. So elements that will come in and they have terrorist connections, our machines, our prices are able to detect. But where the situation will arise that they have to come en masse, that is an influx, you wouldn't have the luxury of time to process them the way that we do. That is where we will have to organize them as a group, put them at one place, and then we will have enough time to screen them one by one, because then they will come as a mixed flow, which would include pregnant women, children, old people, criminals, and all those. So then when we group them at a place, then we will have enough time to go and screen them properly before we can separate those who can be given asylum and who cannot be given, or who have to be monitored, I should say.
Well, at the moment, you're telling us, because these people are not coming in droves, you don't see them with heavy luggages sipping through the system. How are you able to tell that these people are refugees and these are not? Or these are people fleeing the situation in Ivory Coast?
Well, it's a normal travel route. and mostly here you see transit passengers most. So if we are processing very normally, we ask our basic questions. What are you coming to do? Where are you going to stay? How long are you going to stay? And all those. If we don't get the clues from the person that he's indeed running away from a danger, or he himself doesn't come out and say that it is because of this danger that I am coming, I don't even know where I am going. If they always give the right answers as I'm going to visit my friend or they are normal ECOWAS nationals, so and most of them even transit. So until the person gives the indication that indeed he's not comfortable from where he's coming from, we cannot impose refugee status on somebody.
So at least we know that at the refugee camps, there's about 1,500 people currently. Are these people in need of aid, or are they able to fend for themselves?
Well, we are in contact with the camp manager, and since it is an existing camp, once they are there, if they require any assistance humanitarianly, the camp manager will be taking care of them. But not until the refugee board has come to listen to their story as to benefits that a refugee should get. Maybe they have not yet gotten there, or I would say they have qualified yet. Maybe the Ghana Refugee Board would have to go to the camp and actually interact with them to know whether they are even coming to visit those who are there already and will go back, or they are coming to seek asylum.
All right. Thank you very much. We're grateful for your time. DCI Joshua Kreku, and he's the Deputy Commander of Immigration at the Ilubu Command. Well, there's been intensified calls from stakeholders asking the Office of the Special Prosecutor to fast-track processes leading to the extradition of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. The OSP earlier this year declared Mr. Ofori-Atta wanted and asked the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, to help extradite him to Ghana. Let's engage Mr. Edem Senano, is chairperson of the AU Advisory Board Against Corruption. We're grateful for your time. I'm sure you're also wondering how much time it will take the OSP to extradite Mr. Ofori-Atta back into Ghana. What are your, what do you know currently of the situation? Have you heard of anything, or what are your sentiments towards what's happening currently?
Well, thank you very much. And I think Ken's situation is one that, if persons have been following the chronology, even on the OSP website, you will recognize that at this point, the government of Ghana, through the Attorney General, is responsible for the extradition request that would get him back into the country. If you follow the chronology, he was supposed to have, he committed himself to showing up at the OSP by the 2nd of June. And then I think about 3 or 4 days before, we suddenly had information from the lawyers that he was not going to show up. And then on the 3rd of June, that's 24 hours after he failed to show up, the OSP wrote to the Chief of Staff asking that the government of Ghana, so this is a political decision, should trigger a requisition, extradition request. And then we've seen a banter between the two. But my information is that the AG is seized with all the information it needs to have made this request by this point. So at the moment, the ball is firmly and squarely in the court of the Attorney General and the government of Ghana to make that request so that he can be brought into the country.
So we still haven't heard what is happening with the OSP. I mean, some time back, it was all over social media that Ken was on the streets in the US with his wife, with his backpack, walking, seeing that, I mean, from what others were gleaning from what they saw on social media, he looked hale and hearty. So would you say that the OSP is taking his time or not wanting to press on to bring the man back to the country to face charges?
I find all of that narrative incredulous. I mean, sometimes I don't know whether it is media that is not tracking its own reportage. First, the OSP was attacked for being insensitive when it was insisting the man would not show up. And they said, we are going to put him on red alert. They said, no, you shouldn't do that. Then the lawyers came, they took him off. He promised he would come in June. He failed. They put him back on red alert. People were not happy about it. I don't understand this continuous attack of the OSP. And now the actions to be taken are no longer in the court of the OSP, and yet people are saying the OSP is delaying.
But should the OSP move to the dictates of what people are saying, or move by what the law says, for him to, you know, do what he's supposed to do?
And the OSP has been doing that. I mean, the OSP stuck to their guns in spite of all the backlash that they were being insensitive, and still said, no, we have every suspicion that he will not show up. So we are putting him on red alert. People were not happy with that. Upon all the commitments, all the way up to June 2nd, the man said he will appear. 3 or 4 days to June 2nd, he says, I cannot come for whatever reasons. Now, he's not saying he's in surgery. He's not saying he has whatever. And he's walking the streets of America. It's not a government decision. I mean, honestly speaking, it is no longer in the court of the ages. In fact, I'm aware that this week they are likely to call a press conference where I think they've done further work where there are additional charges they are looking at. So the OSP has continued to work, trying to, as it were, mine the data they have. And in the information I have, they are likely to have additional charges they're going to press by the end of this week. The point of the matter is that I think that right now government needs to take that decision, make sure the extradition request goes. And we shouldn't have information leaking like it leaked over the weekend. I mean, that's scandalous. I think that somebody needs to plug those holes because it undermines our case in the eyes of the international agencies who should be supporting our extradition request. So I don't think that the OSP has been very slow at all. I think they've been very meticulous. I've watched the timing of the correspondence. When he failed to show up on the 2nd, by the 3rd of June, they had written to the Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff reported, I think, responded 13th June. By the 20th, within a week, they had responded again, nominating their committee members. And I'm quite aware that they knew that they had not quite finished some of the documentation. So I don't see why there's this continuous lambasting of the OSP. At this point, the government of Ghana needs to take action, make sure the extradition request is made. And ideally, I don't know why media is not calling Ken and his representatives. Call the lawyers. Call Ken. Ask, why is the man who committed to come in June not here? We are in October.
Well, it's not like we haven't tried. We have tried, but the case but the case is in the purview of the OSP. And we are hoping that him representing the state would have at least by now made a statement or at least given us an update on their investigations.
Well, I think that the OSP did that. The media report did that. If you go to their site, also is there. It is categorically stated on their website that a request has been made to the Attorney General Department, who is seized with the authority to make such extradition requests. So what the OSP has done is to actually, escalate to the highest level, put this gentleman on the red notice, as they say, which as far as actions go, and indeed they did it speedily, because sometimes getting you on red alert or whatever they call it can take up to 3 or 6 months. In this case, within 1 week, they managed to convince the necessary authorities to put him on a red alert. Where we are now is that the OSP has asked the AGs to make an extradition request, and the information required for that already, as far as I'm concerned, is in the purview of the AGs. So let's now begin to ask the AGs what they've done. In fact, I'm actually also interested in what additional investigations have been done, because you see, the AG's remit covers economic crimes, financial crimes. They have YOCO, they have CID. I'm wondering what other investigations have been going on, because ideally there should have been simultaneous other investigations on the other issues that have come up. So what other dockets do we have? Let's not look at one entity that's been trying to do its best amidst all the lambasting and the, I don't know what to say. But I think the OSP has done its part. If you go to their website, it is clearly stated. In their media report, they clearly stated it. And by the end of this week, I am aware that they're going to have another, some kind of press conference or statement and give an update on where things are. At this point, the AGs is the one that needs to act on the Ken Ofori-Atta situation.
All right, I'll come to you on this interesting bit about the wealthy businessman who attempted to bribe 80 MPs. At least the OSP says they've concluded that investigation, but I'll come to you shortly on that. Let's speak to Martin Pebu, who is also a lawyer and has been following keenly issues of corruption. Martin, we're yet to see Ken Ofori-Atta back in town. At least we're just learning that there will be a press conference to update us on event. But really, what do you make of the situation so far? We are yet to see the man in the country.
Yeah, so my thoughts are that, you see, we have asked that the Special Prosecutor should take Ken Ofori-Atta offer complete file. If they are final, that's it. God, if we have there, as when tells that we are, if not use the plan B, nobody goes forward with one. Here and
Martin, I can hardly hear you. Could you reposition yourself so that we can hear properly?
Hello?
Yes, I hope we can maintain this. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, so maybe should I repeat?
Yes, you should.
I said my thoughts on this matter are that the OSP failed to take the plan B, which is to take Ofori-Atta's offer to cooperate with the OSP while it's in the US. If we are taking that offer, by now we could have done or at least started trial that once we not focus. If the man can be careful that if they have done, that could have tied a trial map that is out for giving up it, but that our mind. At the same time, that come in Ghana, come in court, but one account for the child. So, let's when you read the thing, and all that requires is that Ofori-Atta started not there. And once those that he doesn't, the people going up that is not that.
It's really unfortunate, Martin. It's really difficult hearing what you're saying, but I'm certain you're making so much sense in there. But we'll try and establish a correct line to you so that we can hear you properly on this matter. That's Martin Pebu, private legal practitioner. But Adam Sananu is still with me. Adam, so we're learning from the OSP that this investigation, that this wealthy businessman attempted to bribe 80 MPs to get Ken Ofori-Atta out as Finance Minister in the then administration, Ekufuor administration. That investigation has been concluded. Let me just, read excerpts of that statement on the Special Prosecutor's website. And they're saying that the investigation showed that a wealthy businessman did, in fact, attempt to offer money to a section of the Majority Caucus of Parliament with the intention of influencing their demand for the resignation or removal of Mr. Ofori-Atta as Minister for Finance. It also showed that the monetary offer was apparently rejected by the contacted members of Parliament. However, the potential key witness, Mr. Appiah Kubi's refusal to disclose the identity of the suspect, effectively defeated the investigation. The institution of criminal proceedings would necessarily require the input and cooperation of Mr. Appiah Kubi, without which the case will not pass muster in respect of the requisite standard establishing guilt, which is proof beyond reasonable doubt. Now, the investigation may be reopened should the circumstances and further facts so dictate. So, what do you make of this investigation? They're saying that Mr. Appiah Kubi is unwilling to, expose the identity of this wealthy businessman. Are you satisfied with the investigation so far? Well, some are also thinking that about 80 MPs where there was an attempt to bribe 80 MPs. So if Mr. Appiah-Kubi is not forthcoming, can they seek audience with these 80 MPs? At least one person can, tell us who this wealthy businessman is.
Well, first, let me make a quick comment because I heard part of what Martin was trying to say. So just a quick comment that the understanding that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta could have been interviewed whilst he was still in the US, I believe is a non-starter. I fully disagree with Martin when he wants to suggest that that was an option we should take. Because just in case the evidence is such that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta was going to be found guilty, if he was in the US and the evidence shows that this is somebody who should be sanctioned, what was the OSP going to do? It just complicates it. So, Martin, I'm sorry, that kind of argument is neither here nor there. Now, the businessman. When the political parties take a position, it's very difficult because your whole campaign and how the party will treat you can become compromised. So I can well understand that having first said that we want to move this man from his position because we see the country is not doing well. And then there were all these negotiations. I heard they were called to the presidency and what have you. It must have been difficult for the 80 plus to now then speak out. My challenge is this, and I said it at the time, from an ethical leadership perspective, all of us who take up leadership positions, who are at the forefront of making sure or wanting this country to move forward, must know what is right, do what is right ourselves, and influence those around us to do what is right when it matters most. Yeah. And I think that this was a failure by Mr. Appiah-Kubi at the time, because I thought that the MPs and the collective of Parliament, from an ethical perspective, should have known that for this country to move forward, sometimes those sacrifices must be made. Mm. And so I still expect Mr. Appiah-Kubi, Honorable Appiah-Kubi, wherever he is, to reflect on these matters, especially if he's a Christian, because I think at the time somebody had said he was a Christian to me. I said, look, guys, when we say we are persons of faith, there are things we should stand up for. And when you yourself are guilty, you must pay the penalty for it. Mm. So I am disappointed in the group that failed to speak up, especially the one who spoke up at the time, because I think he should have had the strength of character to still have gone through with speaking to the issues.
Mm. Right. We seem to have Martin back on the line. Martin, so Adam Senanu is disagreeing with you about the other option of the OSP seeking audience with Ken over phone, more or less, over the digital media. So what do you still stand by that though?
Yes. So you see, ask Adam Senanu, you see, maybe we are like the fight Adam Senanu does, we are all helping fight corruption and the rest. But you see, Adam, there comes a time where some of the points, leave it to the technical people, because when you get in too much, you would cause a bit of confusion. Now let's do this. Let's do a bit of education. There's a law called Mutual Legal Assistance Act, right? Mm-hmm. So for criminal cases, when you need help, you go through it. Now, Ofori-Atta said he would do video conference. I currently don't have the law here, but in times past, we read it. Before you do the video conference, the simple point we're making is that you can ask the U.S. authorities to take Ofori-Atta's statement for us. So they will take what we call caution statement. Then they will take charge statement. If there are any other things, we will act through that. That's why we made the law. So, Adam, I think this one, maybe we should talk behind the scenes so that we don't appear to be fighting in public. But please, we all want the law to work. So we have a law, we have a legal framework that allows us to get the U.S. authority. And we've debated this ad nauseam. So it's Ofori-Atta himself who said he will cooperate with the U.S. So, and when it comes to taking the statement, it's not any difficult thing. Mm. Once the Americans agree, they will ask him to come to whichever office of the FBI or which other investigating authority will use. Then they will take the statement from him. It's not rocket science.
But Mr. Kwebu, it's been about It's been about 4 months now. From the time he did the surgery till now, I anticipate that things are much better now. What will it really take to bring him down? What does it entail to extradite him now? I mean, following the Interpol alert and everything now.
Yeah, so now, you know that one is a complex matter. You and I don't have all the facts. When you are doing extradition, it's not just law. There's also a lot of politics in it. So I don't want to go in there. All we can beg the American government is that they should also try and bring him down. But it's a lot more complex. Extradition is not straight. It's very complex. There are business interests. You know, Ofori-Atta is invested in America. So sometimes these things too can, have an effect on the process, etc. America is looking for investment. Times are not that good in America. They are also struggling. Of course, it's just that they are generally better off than us. But it's not as rosy as people think. So there will be the question of, hey, you want to throw out your investor quickly like that? What would other investors in America be thinking? That the day my country is looking for me, you will just give me up so quickly? So it's a very complex matter when it comes to the extradition thing. That's how come for me, I said, this is his country. He has some properties here. So let's start. If we start and he doesn't come, then the trial will go on without him. That's how come we say that let's do the processes, take the offer. Have you gone to Ofori-Atta to take a statement in America and he says no? No, he says you will do it. So let's do it. Then we can start the trial here. Article 19, Clause 3. Let me read it. People have been misleading others. In our Constitution, there is no requirement that Ofori-Atta should come to court day one and then travel and not come back before you can continue. No. Article 19, Clause 3 just simply says that if you know there is a case, a criminal case against you, and you don't come, we can go and leave you. That's the trial can go on in your absence.
Right.
Let's read it.
Right.
Trial in absentia, Article 19, Clause 3A.
Right.
The trial of a person charged with a criminal offense shall take place in his presence unless A, he refuses to appear before the court for the trial to be conducted in his presence after he has been duly notified. So the thing is notification. So if you take Ofori-Atta's statements in the U.S., then afterwards you send him notice through the same channels that we are starting the trial, and he says you will not come, then the judge will go on.
All right.
Yes, let's use the law. Let's use the law. Let's start something. We cannot go into battle with just plan A. Nobody goes to battle like that. And it means you are not even prepared for battle. Ask the military generals. Nobody goes to war with just one plan. A general who goes to war with one plan is not prepared for the war. A general who goes to war with just one plan is not prepared for the war. You have plan C.
Right. Thank you so much, Martin Pebu. And he's telling the OSP to implement Article 19(3) of the 1992 Constitution. Thank you so much, Adam Sananu, also for your time on this conversation. Well, in other stories, most first-year students are expected to report to school today as additional schools reopen following a weekend marked by long queues and frustration for many parents. In the Oti region, the reporting process at the Buenam Senior High School was slowed by weekend schedules and also in the Volta region and whatnot. But our correspondents join us on the line now. Peter, what's the updates where you are?
Well, Mami, currently I find myself at the fugitive Senior High School. In your shop now is the admission, the holding area for the admission process. And so far, I can report that everything here is smooth. But I have with me the assistant headmaster for academic works here at fugitive Senior High School. He will give us a bit more of what the process has been like since Saturday until now. Welcome to Joy News. You are live. How has the process been for you since Saturday? We know it was a weekend until now. How far with the process?
It's been long. It's not been easy. We are running the statistical calendar. Our first and second years left on Friday, and then the following Saturday, the next day Saturday, we had to start the admission. It was a weekend, so we didn't have so many of our patients reporting. But I can report to you, as at yesterday in the evening, we had a little over 100 who has reported. But in the system, 1,331 students have been placed at Kennedy Asylum High School. Of this number, we have a little over 1,000 who have had their names pushed into the system. I think that those physically present on the ground, we have a little over 100. But today, Monday, they are coming on because we can see the whole place is now choked with the items that we need for their education to be at high school.
We know from Nkwanta area, I spoke to one of the headmasters who said that the conflict there is having a toll on the numbers it's accepting. Is it the same case here with KDB Asatu Senior High School?
Yeah, you know, KDB Asatu Senior High School and man, we seem to be singing the same songs in the sense that we are just a year older than Bueman. And the problems we have, because we have the challenges we are facing here are basically the challenges we are also facing here. Nkwanta is also close by. So we've had a lot of students expressing interest. And now with the protocol system, we can only operate within the number or the numbers we have been given. And when that is exhausted, not until we have been given approval by the Director General, there's no way you can. So, yes, we've had, and the numbers are already exhausted. So we are only waiting for green light. But for now, I think we've had the numbers and we are praying that the rest will come. So we can begin academic work as early as possible. We'll be very ready to start academic work.
Finally, before we let go of you, infrastructure challenge we know is facing most of the schools in the region. How are you going to cope with the numbers that are coming in vis-a-vis your infrastructure? Do you have enough space for them?
So we declare the vacancy based on facilities. So we have what it takes to be able to contain them so they can have their academic year running without any difficulty. Let me quickly add to that on Wednesday we have a general orientation for the first year, where we have a new curriculum now. We have moved from the objective-based to standard-based. So there are certain things we need to know, where some courses you can do, the number of subjects you can exit, we can all. We have this orientation. Then we have the baseline assessment day, where we administer a test for us to see what they are going to do. Those who fall below studying math will be given a special intervention that's in English and math. So basically, we are ready for everything.
Right. So, Mami, that's the assistant headmaster for KDB Asatu Senior High School at Vosifas, giving us what they have put in place to welcome these first years. So we can report that everything is smooth here, and across the region we have not heard any hitches anywhere, apart from the numbers moving in from the Nkwanta area to the sister schools southwards of the region. That is that one we can report. But for now, everything is okay here. From the T region, I can report, Mami.
Thank you, Peter, for that update. Let's go to Wa and speak to Rafik Salam. Rafik, what can you report?
To you that since the reporting started on Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, today is really a little bit different. We've seen the crowd, we've seen maze of students that came here in their droves on Saturday and then on Sunday. But today, the situation is a little bit less stressful. And so, Wa Senior High School, we are told, had about 850 students that have been placed at the school by the CSSSPS, but the school requested for vacancies for 700. So currently we have the headmaster of the school in the person of Mr. Alhaji Adam Idusu Tedman. Welcome to join us and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Rafik.
Can you tell us what transpired since Saturday, since you have started registering students?
Yes, well, so far so good. A number of first years reported on the 18th, that is Saturday. By the close of the day, we recorded 174 students. But I'm not in a position to give the male-female ratio. However, on Sunday, the number reduced a little with about 145 reporting. And today is early yet. We have gotten 20 registrants so far. And I know as the day rolls on, more will come.
You are talking about close to about 30% of the students that have been placed at the school who have currently registered. Tell us about the challenges that you people are facing. Do you have enough facilities to take care of the sea of 800 students, 850 students that have been placed at your school?
Well, it is not going to be easy because we declared a vacancy for 700, and on the 17th, when the placement was released, we saw in our portal 850, meaning that apart from some moving out and others coming, there is a difference of 150, which is not going to be easy for us to accommodate. So there is a need for us to readjust, and this readjustment can only be strategized when we know for sure the number that we report.
You were talking about the grading system. You said that the school was downgraded from around 2018 to a category B school, and you want the school to be upgraded again.
Yes. I took over in December 2020. But before that, I headed a basic school for 5 years. That is one municipal model JHS from 2012 to 2017. During the school selection, when I was a head teacher, WASEC was one of the category A schools. So when I came here, I knew I was coming to manage a category A school. Little did I know it was downgraded. I called the exams officer at the Municipal Education Office, Mr. Adams Katori. He told me that the downgrade took effect in 2018. And upon inquiry, we realized that...
Hello? Hello? Hello, okay, go on.
Yes, upon inquiry, we realized that the performance started dwindling somewhere from 2013 downwards. It started dwindling.
Because there was no consistency, because the school has 6 headmasters in 11 years.
6 headmasters in every 11 years, a maximum of 2 years for each of them. And in administration, that is not good enough. But since I came on the 24th December 2020 up to date, we have seen a significant increase in performance and enrollment. I took an enrollment of 1,400, but today, as I speak, with the even 700 adding to our current number, we will hit around 2,500. Last year, we were 2,456. So if all these 700 plus comes, we'll be going beyond 2,500.
So you want the school to be upgraded back to its former status?
That is the hope and wish and prayer of all stakeholders of our senior high school.
All right.
We were highly motivated. The Minister of Education indicated that they were going to upgrade some 10 Category B schools to Category A. It is our hope, our wish, our prayer that what senior high school.
Rafik Salam there reporting to us from Wa. We take a break. I will be back with business.
Yeah, welcome back. It's time for business. I am Michelle Ejikum. Now, the Ghana Free Zones Authority in Ashanti region is adapting strategic measures for local small and medium enterprises and large industries to leverage the government's new policy under the special economic zones. Now, many local businesses in the region continue to struggle in exporting their products, citing concerns over the minimum capital for exports. But the Free Zones Authority in the region is enhancing its operations for businesses to take advantage of the export policies to stimulate industrial growth and boost productivity. That's more in this report.
Ghana Free Zones Authority in the Ashanti region took to the principal street of Kumasi propagating the mandate of the office in supporting local businesses. The sensitization work is part of activities earmarked for the 30th anniversary of the Free Zones Authority since its establishment in 1995. The celebration is held on the theme 3 Decades of Impact, Empowering Businesses, Transforming Trade in Ghana. It highlighted and reflected the authority's impact in promoting industrial growth in the country. Samed Akalilu is the Ashanti Regional Manager of the Free Zones Authority.
As an export-led oriented entity or government body, it is our duty to ensure that we stimulate the economic environment by making sure that we contribute to that enabling environment for businesses to take advantage, to go into what we call value-added export. For us as an entity, we believe that it is only when we add value that a lot of jobs will be created for the numerous young people in this country. And once jobs are created, it means that a lot of people will live meaningful lives. And again, we believe that once a lot of people go into production, adding value, the forest issues will be addressed, because we are aware of the dwindling fortunes of our currency, sometimes the cedi, because most of the things we consume as a country are imported.
The export processing zones are set to be transformed into special economic zones to drive industrialization, boost exports and create jobs. But what's in for the region? Mr. Akalilo explains the benefits of the authority in supporting especially local, small and medium enterprises to leverage the new initiative.
What the free zone offers, what the scheme offers, is that we do not have a minimum capital requirement. I mean, most of the agencies will tell you that you need to have $1 million or say the equivalent of that to be able to register and enjoy all the freebies, if you like. The Act of Free Zone and what we offer is that it is zero minimum capital requirement. However, you cannot establish a business if you do not have something to stand on. So we are saying that, yeah, just show us that there are prospects. You don't even need to show us the market, outside market in its proper.
And that's all we have for you for business. But there's more when you log on to My Joy Online. Major stories like the IMF board to consider Ghana's fifth program review in December approves 380 million disbursement. So there's more of these when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Michelle Ejiku, Mamisi.
Thank you, Michelle. That's how we end the bulletin here on Joy News Desk. There's also more news on myjoyonline.com. Thank you for staying.